Hello, friends, and welcome back to the shop. Today is Sunday, March 16th, the day before St. Patrick's Day. Yes, I've been I bought myself some Irish soda bread scones yesterday, so I'm fully fully satisfied with my St. Patrick's Day festivities. That and some beer. That's all you need. Now, looking forward. I always enjoy St. Patrick's Day. I'm not very Irish in reality. I've got Irish blood in me. My grandmother was 50% Irish, but she swore she was full Irish and she loved the Irish and everything about the Irish. And she played a big role in my development and raising me and stuff. So I was very close to her, and I inherited her staunch Irishness. So really, really looking forward to tomorrow. Not that I'm going to do anything special except probably wear a green shirt. So uh, yeah, today I wanted to, well, first off, I've got my Talbot Lignée Bretagne. This is the one with that really beautiful, I don't know if that's going to come up with this light, but it's got this beautiful, I think he called it Starry Night Swirl, or I called it Starry Night Swirl. It was a one-off rustication, and I snapped it up when I saw it because it was just beautiful. And I am enjoying some Old Joe Krantz in this, and I'm a happy man. So, today I'm doing a video today, which I might regret. I hope I don't. I've been wanting to make this video for a year and a half now. If you remember, a year and a half ago, I put out a advice to, I think I called it new pipe smokers or young pipe smokers, but I really wanted it to be new and young. So today it's new and young. It was a part one, and it was some basic stuff. It was, uh, I don't honestly remember. I probably should have rewatched it before before I made this, but you can find it. It'll be in the same playlist as this one. Maybe I'll put a link below to that playlist. Uh, so this is part two. I had envisioned this as a three-part series that I was going to complete within maybe 3 months. And when it came time to make part two, I found I couldn't do it because I wanted to base it on some events that happened involving real people. And I didn't want it to be about the people. Um, and this is really important. And this is why I've been so hesitant to talk about this. Because there's people that are going to see this video and they're gonna think I'm attacking other people, and I'm not. I'm not. I'm trying to give advice, and everybody has their own way of going about everything, and there are no rules in pipe smoking, and that's one of the things that I really want to get across, and that's a big part of what this video today is about. So, if you noticed in the title card, I had a book, a paperback book, was one of the images in the title card. And that was a book that was written by a fellow named Sheldon Kopp. I think it was 60s that he wrote it. He died in the 90s, 1990s. Of course, 1990s. Well, he could have been the 1890s. Anyway, he died in the 1990s. He was a psychotherapist. And this book, I got it when I was in high school, based entirely. I saw it in a bookstore, and the title just intrigued me. And the title, as you can see in the title card, and I'm hesitating on saying the title out loud because I know YouTube doesn't like one of the words in it, so I will say it once. The title of the book by Sheldon B. Kopp is If You Meet the Buddha on the Road, Kill Him. Now, that title has deep meaning, and it's actually not originally his phrase. It's actually something that pops up quite a bit in Zen Buddhism, and I did a lot of comparative religious studies in my time. I've always been fascinated at the crossover between different religions and things like that. So I've actually spent, I'm not a scholar by any means, but I spent a lot of time reading a lot about Buddhism and Zen Buddhism, and I've seen this phrase come up in other contexts. Um, it was originally a quote or a koan, a Zen koan, from a Zen master who was named Linji. And what Linji meant by that, if a Zen koan can mean anything, and it really can't, But the intent behind it was not that you should be committing acts of violence, because violence is obviously not a Buddhist ideal. Um, it was basically telling you that if you're on a road and you're trying to get somewhere and you meet a guide, that guide can't really take you there. The guide can maybe point you, can maybe advise you, but he can't get you there. You have to get there yourself. And that's kind of the main point. So Sheldon Kopp's book was about patient's journey during psychotherapy. And at the time I bought the book, I was very interested in psychology. My three main interests when I was in high school were psychology, biology, and chemistry. I loved all three of those areas. And I was kind of not sure. When I went into college, I actually thought I was going to be a biochemist. Uh, that all got turned on its head at some point. Uh, but at any rate, I'm a brain biologist now. But there was a period of time in college where I really thought I was going to become a psychotherapist, and I reread this book then and got a much better understanding of what Kopp was trying to say. Now, in the context of psychotherapy, it means something very different than in the context of pipe smoking. We'll get to pipe smoking momentarily. But what he was saying was, if you're a therapist and you've got a patient, well, let's not go there. Every patient is on a journey, and you can either choose to be their lifelong advisor, right? Always telling them exactly what it is that they need to do, or you can have them identify within themselves the thing that they already have that can get them through that journey, and then they don't need you anymore. And that's the key. The Buddha is not something that has to constantly be guiding you. It's something that inspires you to move on. And that's kind of the key of it all. This isn't about Buddhism and this isn't about psychotherapy. It's about pipe smoking. So what the heck do I mean? Well, there will be people, and I might be one of them. Okay, so I'm not trying to point fingers at anyone, but there will be people that will tell you with good intention how you should do things. Now, if they're good, they're going to say things like, this is the way I do it. There's lots of ways to do it, but this really works for me. If they're not so good, they'll say things like, you have to do it this way. And I don't know of anyone that does that. So I'm not pointing any fingers or anything, but you may run into these people at your local shop or something, in the park, who knows? Um, the first person that really gave me any information about pipe smoking, and I've told this story before, was a 80-something-year-old corncob pipe smoking woman who ran a tobacco shop in Squirrel Hill area of Pittsburgh. And what she told me was there's two kinds of tobacco. There's English and there's aromatics. You don't want aromatics. They're lousy. And then she filled a plastic bag with 2 ounces of number 10 Downing Street, handed it to me and said, there, smoke that, and rung it up on the register. That was my first interaction with anyone that knew anything about pipe smoking other than what I had learned from stuffing Captain Black in a gray book. Now, there's some inaccuracies there, right? And she did not leave room for questions. She did not say, in my opinion, she just told me this is the way it is. And for a short period of time, I thought she was, I thought that was reality. It wasn't, as we all know. So, what does that mean? Well, you're going to watch YouTube videos and you're going to see people saying, this kind of pipe is the best kind of pipe ever. These kind of pipes aren't good. You got to get this kind of lighter. If you're not using a Zippo, you don't know how to smoke a pipe. Hopefully nobody says that. If you use a Zippo, you're stupid. Zippos make your pipe taste bad. Zippos have no flavor at all. Just picking on things that are on the top of my mind here. These are the Buddhas you're going to meet on the road. Don't hurt them. Learn from them. Listen to them. And think about what they say. If you want to pack your pipe, I'm giving another example here. Do the method that I was taught, but this is probably going to get me banned. You pack like a boy, you pack like a woman, and you pack like a man. 3 pinches. And the idea is that the first one goes in lightly, the second one a little bit more, and then the third one a bit firmer. And why do you do that? Well, that's one method. What's another method? Well, there's the funnel method where you funnel it and you swirl it around and it goes in. Okay, well, but there's also the Frank method, which I don't understand, but it's something like you just kind of flop it in there and tap it down a little bit at a time. There's the squeeze it in a really tight ball and drop it in first, and then pack on top of that method. Which okay, so you hear what do these have in common? They're all leading to less dense stuff in the bottom and more dense stuff at the top. Why is that important? Well, if you pack too hard at the bottom, you're going to block the airflow. You need room at the bottom for the air to pull through the tobacco. So that's the way you pack. And it doesn't matter if you do 3 pinches or 10 pinches, and it doesn't matter if you're thinking about Frank or Vortexes or whatever. When you get the tobacco in, leave some room at the bottom. Now, you could have chosen any of those and gone through life thinking this is the correct path. I'm a disciple of the vortex method. But you don't have to. Because once you understand that, once those guides have pointed you towards that fact, now you've got that internalized. That's part of you. And the truth is, you already know how to smoke a pipe. I know that's going to be hard for some of you to grasp, but you do. It's a very natural process. It's like breathing. I mean, you just don't breathe into your lungs. If you know anything about how fire works, how fire works, um, you can figure it out. It's not rocket science, or it's not. It's not something that requires a teacher. It's not something that requires years of study and books and videos and everything else. It's a pretty simple task in the end. And you really can't do it wrong unless you don't like it. So you don't need a Buddha. You don't need a guy on YouTube telling you the right way to do it. And you definitely don't need to pay for it in any way, shape, or form, because it's too simple for that. And that's the thing that worries me in any endeavor, any hobby. Anytime you see somebody, I'm going to use woodworking as an example. Anytime you see somebody telling you that this is the way to do it, take a step back and think, why are they saying that? What is their connection to this thing? And why did they just today decide to tell me this? You could be watching a YouTube guy for 10 years and he never once talks about sharpening. And then all of a sudden, he's going to do the ultimate sharpening video, and he's going to show you the only way he'll sharpen his tools. And it's using some new water stones that just were produced by Sharpton last week. So obviously he hasn't had them for more than a week. Maybe he got them early. Maybe he's had them a month. And there's links in the description where you can buy those water stones, and it's an affiliate link. And that's where I get worried. Now, fortunately, in pipe smoking, we don't have a lot of that because you can't do affiliates and stuff, But getting harder to make money in the pipe smoking world is interesting. The YouTube pipe community, when I got involved in it, we didn't even know what monetization was. And, much to my disgrace, I did monetize my channel for a while. And there are still ads on it because of that. I wish I had never done that. It was a complete and total waste of time. I never, like in a really, really, really good month, ignoring tips, which, that would obviously change things, but just looking at ad revenue, I'd maybe make $6 on like a really outstanding month. And, that just is silly. I left it on because I figured, well, at the end of the year, it's a tuna tobacco or something, but then the ad just got so invasive and so ridiculous. I thought, I'm putting people through this for nothing, for tin tobacco. It's not worth it. So I turned it off on all new videos. Older ones I left it on, and YouTube still runs ads. I can't control that. That's their deal. But I'm talking about this because I got an email from them last week telling me that I am no longer eligible to monetize my channel because of the content. And I said, well, that's fine because I didn't want to anyway. Um, so this is making it problematic for people that are in this for money, and there probably are a few of them. So they're going to start doing Patreon. They're going to start doing other, merchandise and all that kind of stuff. If you want to do that, just because you like the personalities or you want to have that, I don't know. You want to buy yourself a nice cane rod Piper fishing hat or something. You go ahead, do it. That's fine, but don't think you have to pay for the information because you already know how to do it. And this is true of so many things in life. In fact, I would argue, and this is where it's going to get a little philosophical and esoteric, and I promise not to go too deep, but I would argue that it's true in all aspects of life. Yes, you need a guide. You need, um, if you want to be a heart surgeon, you're going to need somebody who's already a heart surgeon to show you what to cut and what not to cut, right? But as we know from just about every endeavor we've ever tried, there are things we're good at and things we're not good at. A good heart surgeon already has that ability. They just haven't learned how to put it together yet. And they need that guide to show them this is how you put it together. But the moment they understand that, it's their innate capabilities that have come out. And with something like heart surgery, I want somebody to say this is the way you do it. But with something like pipe smoking, you're better off just figuring it out. That's I had a few lessons. I was going to say a lonely pipe smoker, but that doesn't sound good. A lone pipe smoker. I didn't know a lot of people when I first started smoking pipes. I smoked for about 2 years before I met that woman who introduced me to English blends, and she didn't give me any advice on packing the pipe. Uh, I went to Tinderbox once and pretty had a really bad experience there, so didn't learn anything there. Years later, I ran into some people that, were kind enough to talk to me and help me understand things. But at that point, I was already doing okay. Um, you can figure it out yourself, but it goes faster if somebody can say, "Try this." But you already got it in you. Uh, so I encourage you all to forge down the road. Don't hurt the Buddhas, but give them a pat on the back and thank them, and continue on your journey. And heck, try some heart surgery. Don't try heart surgery. Uh, I hope that all made some sense. I hope that was good advice for someone. And if you've got different thoughts, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear them. I'm not going to argue with anybody, but I'd like to hear your thoughts. And by the way, I am woefully behind on comments. I am woefully behind on email still. And my goal today, after I finish this video and probably have some lunch because it's getting late, it's going to be lunchtime. After lunch, I'm going to answer emails and comments and all that good stuff. So hopefully I will get caught up today. So with that, my friends, I thank you for watching this and enjoying a pipe with me and persevering through my ramblings. I hope it was helpful to someone. Again, I'll put a link down below for the playlist where I'm putting these advice type videos together, and hopefully people will see them as another bit of information to incorporate into their knowledge base, but not necessarily a instruction for life. So with that, I hope you all have a fantastic Sunday. You're looking forward to a great week ahead. And until we meet again, I will look forward to talking to you all again very soon. Bye now.